The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, and welcome to the July New Features webinar from Mindflash. We have Jason McMurray here. He's our VP of Sales and Support, and Randir Vieira, and I'm the VP for Product and Marketing. And we are pleased to share with you what we just released and what will be coming out in the next few days. And just get this. Okay, so you should be seeing our screen now. And we will show you what we're going to cover. All right. So we'll cover some of the recent feature enhancements that we just did. So just so you know what is available, we'll cover some of the new things that are coming out, including our automated workflow API, our single sign-on capabilities, usernames for people who don't have email addresses, the new search capabilities, and the enhancements that we made to user management, and then give you a preview on what we're working on so you know what's coming down the pipe. And then we'll open it up to questions. So if you have any questions, feel free to use the chat section of the webinar to let us know.
So a few of the things, just to highlight some of the recent changes that we've made, just to kind of brush up on those things so that everyone's aware. We, over the last several months, have added a bunch of new items, including advanced reporting, trainer roles, so differentiation of trainers or people with elevated permission levels when they come into the system. We overhauled our series completely, and completely redid all of that. We have removed the edit restrictions entirely on active courses. So before we kept you from changing things once the course was active. That's no longer the case. You can swap files in and out, add quiz questions, etc. We've introduced an unlimited trainee plan for people with really big programs. So it's a capped amount each month, and it doesn't matter how many trainees you have. Last month's webinar, two items that we covered real quickly. Overhaul of managed users. You'll see some additional enhancements that we've added to that this coming release today. And then we've added additional custom user fields. So these are the custom data that you can keep on your trainees. For the Pro tier, we've added up to 10 custom fields.
All right. So we're going to talk a little bit about some of the new capabilities. And what we're doing here with our automated workflow API, which will be available on the Pro tier, is mainly designed to help people with large programs. So if you want to minimize the manual entry for people and you don't want to have people manually entering or adding people to Mindflash and assigning them to courses and series, or if you want to minimize the data entry errors that may occur, this is a great time to use the workflow API, where you can use this API to automatically have information go from your existing system and your company into Mindflash. If you want to check the status of a particular trainee's certification, or whether they passed a particular course or not, before you allow them to view a particular part of your application, or before they get certain privileges, you can now check that in real time with this API. So as an example, there are some of our customers who want to make sure that their customer care agents are certified before they're able to talk to customers or respond to tickets, and they don't get access to that part of their help desk system till they're told or till they get confirmation that they've passed the course. And sometimes you may want Mindflash reporting data available in your own application so that you're able to more easily tie in the impact to your business with training. So for instance, if somebody is trying to figure out if salespeople or resellers that have taken the Mindflash training and have done well, are they actually selling more, then you can view that all in one place in your own system by using this API to pull in the information. Kind of associated with the with the workflow API is single sign-on, and the advantage of this is that trainees can use the same account that they use in your organization to sign into Mindflash. So they don't have to remember any new account information, and you don't have to administer this new account. It also gives you better control for access to your corporate training, especially when employees join or leave the organization. So the ideal way that the different use cases that this would work in is if you employ both the workflow API and the single sign-on API, then for instance, when you have a new person join the organization, that new person is automatically added to Mindflash, and depending on the department that they're in, like sales or HR or different departments that they may join, you can automatically assign them to certain courses or series of courses in Mindflash all through the API. So not only is this more accurate and reduces manual work, it also happens a lot quicker, which will increase your trainees' ability and interest in taking and completing the training. Similarly, when people log into, let's say, your intranet or your extranet, they can see the list of courses that you've created in Mindflash on your intranet, and then click on a particular course to take it, and then through single sign-on, they're automatically signed into Mindflash and can start taking the course without having to log into Mindflash to take the course. So it's a lot more seamless, and yet you get all the advantages that you've had with Mindflash of a secure system and the reporting by individual. So we're really optimistic and have worked with a lot of our existing customers to build out these capabilities, and if you're interested in any of them, do let us know. So the username and password is an interesting one for us, and this will be available on the advanced and the pro tier. And the problem it's trying to solve is that there are a lot of employees who do not have company email addresses. This is especially so in industries like hospitality, service type industries, retail, manufacturing, or field sales folks who are out in the field a lot and may not, field service technicians, for instance, may not require corporate email addresses. And till now, Mindflash has required an email address, so the only option they had was to either use a personal email address, or the company had to create and give them email addresses even though they didn't need them and didn't use them for anything else. With usernames, you can assign and you can create usernames and passwords for people. Those usernames can be things that they already know, like their employee ID if you want, or a username that they may have for an existing system. Now obviously this works better with single sign-on, but you don't have to. You can just assign these usernames and passwords for folks where they don't have email addresses. Now you don't have to have the employees use their personal email addresses, and you can use the systems that you already have. So we're looking forward to this feature being rolled out and expanding the training coverage that you may have in your existing organization by reaching people who don't have email addresses, and also for new organizations that are primarily retail staff or people who don't have work email addresses. So we look forward to your feedback on this feature. And all these features that we are discussing today, that we're telling you are upcoming, will be available within the next week. We're doing this in response to feedback, to give you a preview of what's coming down the pipe, and we'll also give you a demo of some of these features in the next few minutes. We'll show you how this works with usernames and passwords. You can obviously upload the trainees with your username and password through Excel, the same way that you were doing this today. And you'll be able to see these usernames on your advanced reports as well to help you correlate names, especially for people who have common names like John Smith. You'll have multiple people, but now you'll also have the usernames with it to help you uniquely identify the individual you're looking for. You can use email addresses in addition to usernames if you prefer that for any reason. And you can create these new users via the API as well, either with an email address or with a username and password. And you can reset the password on the Manage Users page, which we'll take a look at. And this is available on the Advanced and the Pro tier. So we'll just take a look at what some of this would look like. So I'll start with what it would look like for a trainee. And when a trainee is trying to log in, they would see a username and password, and they would be able to log in with a username and password.
It's showing the usernames full point in the PowerPoint.
Okay. Okay. So this is the screen that your trainees would see, and they can sign in with a username and password, or if they have an email address, they can sign in with that email address and password like they can do today. And how do you get your account set up for this? If you're on the Advanced and Pro level, you would go to your Manage Account section, and you would just turn this. This would be your default state, and then you would click on Enable Usernames, and now you'd have the username capability set up for you here. And then once you've turned it on, you would go to your Manage Users section of the application, and now here, as I add a user, I now have the ability to put in the email address or their username and password. And similarly, if you upload it via Excel, you can enter their email or the username and password. The key thing to remember is that if you put in a username, you also have to put in their password. And all trainees can have either email or a username and password, but anyone at an elevated permission level, like a manager, trainer, or administrator, will need an email address.
Just real quickly, Randir used one of the new things that's coming this month in the release, which is if you click on your name in the top right-hand corner, you can now access the Manage Users screen, which was not previously the case. So if you ever just need to jump around quickly in the application, you can just click on your name there and do that there. Okay, so before I get going on the next couple of features we have, I just wanted to mention real quickly that we will address any questions you guys have at the end of the webinar. So if you do have a question, whether it's about one of these features or anything else related to Mindflash, you can send it in using the questions function on the right-hand side in GoToWebinar, and you'll be able to, or we'll get those questions and we can answer them in a few minutes here. Still saying that.
No, just unplug.
Okay, so the next thing that we're going to talk about, and it'll come up on your screen shortly here, is our new search capability that we have in the application. We started hearing from users shortly after releasing last month's enhancements that they wanted to be able to use some of those search features on the courses themselves when they're going to enroll people. So what we've done is we've replicated most of that search capability on the courses. We're also trying to bring the series and the course into closer unity in terms of design and function. So we've brought some of the features from the series over to the courses as well when you're enrolling people in courses. So we'll give a quick demo in a minute. But when you go to the Distribute tab within your course, you can actually access the new functionality that we have. And if you go to the next slide, we have allows you to search and filter by group status. So you can go in and select any group, Within the search, you can search by name, email address, username, and get down to the people that you want to. You select the people that you need to in order to enroll in the group, and you can go in and you can invite all of them to the course. So we can hop over to a quick demo of how that works. I can just walk through the functionality. The other thing that you'll see is on the Distribute tab itself. No, it's in the course. Yep. So the Add and Manage Trainees button there looks slightly different. Before it just said Add Trainees. There's a little confusion around that, so we've added Add and Manage Trainees. So whenever you need to manage your people in your course, you can click there. You'll see the little filters that are up there in the top left-hand corner, the All Invited, In Progress, Missed Deadline, Completed. That's something that previously was only available on the series. It allows you to filter your list based on that. So those are people that are already enrolled in your course. You can filter them by their status, and then that search box up there will allow you to search for individuals. As with all of our search now, it's smart like that, where it starts populating as you're typing, so it's easier to find people. The other thing that we've done is we've added username in here. So you can search by username, obviously, if you have that enabled. Your people you can go in and find by the specific username they're looking for. So that ideally is your unique identifier in the system. So if you ever need to find someone specifically, you can do that. So that's our new search, and I think.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that if you're looking to take some quick actions on people, like you want to drop people or you want to remind all the people that need to be reminded, you can just hit the top checkbox here and select all the users. And here, as an example, we've selected 7 trainees, but we're going to take the right action. Like we're going to remind the people, only the 4 people who are in that not started or in progress status in the course. So instead of you having to go and find those people, you can just hit the remind button and we will remind just the folks that need to be reminded. And similarly for the drop folks, we'll only drop trainees in that invited, in progress, or missed deadline status. So that's just a quick shortcut. Rather than you doing the work, we can help you with some of that.
Okay, so we're going to go to go over the additional enhancements that we added to user management. As most of you know, we overhauled our user management section entirely this last release. There were a few things that we have added since then that will be released this time. And here are the issues that we've seen and that we've heard from customers. The first is that the trainee detail panel, the panel that pops open when you click on a person, once you close it, there was no way to open it again without clicking around on different people. So we have added a way to open that after you've closed it. The one sort of oversight I think that we've had in the system was that a lot of people were using a previous function that showed all the people that were not in a group. So we have added that to the search. So you can still search for all your group membership or all the people that are in your groups within the search box, but we've added also the ability to search for people who are not in a group. And lastly, I mentioned this previously, but moving to the Manage Users screen, which is increasingly important as you're managing your program these days, was you always have to go back to the home screen and click on the right-hand side of the screen. You can still do that, but now it's easily accessible if you click on your name in the top right-hand corner. So we'll hop into a demo here real quickly, and we'll just kind of go over all the little things that we have changed as we're doing that demo. So if we go to the user management screen, that box there at the top will allow you to search for everything that's important. If you click in that box and search for those that are ungrouped or not in groups, you see here it starts to pre-populate. It'll show you a list of the people that are not in a group. That's any group membership at all. Just to recap, one of the features that we added is multi-person edit. So if you click both of the people that satisfy that, if we have our ungrouped users and we want to put these people in a group, we can check that box. It gives us multi-edit. You see there's the groups on the right-hand side, a little pencil to the right. And if we click that, we could then add them to a group by saying they're in the East department or something like that. So easy way to add people to groups, and certainly those that are not members of groups, you can do that quite easily. When we click on a person, it reveals the panel on the right-hand side that gives them more details on that trainee, including group membership, what courses they're in, what the status is, things like that. Previously, when you closed this panel, it was not possible to reopen it without re-clicking on people. Now it's got that little icon that allows you to open it, so you can just pop that open and close as you see fit. And then lastly, I mentioned real quickly a couple times, but if you click on your name in the top right-hand corner, you can go easily to either manage your account or manage users. So if you're in a course and you need to get out to the manage users to manage a couple of your groups or things like that, you can easily get there without having to go to the home screen. So hopefully that'll improve your workflow as you're working through the application. Just to move forward here in terms of coming enhancements, those are the items that will be coming later within the next week. All those items the development's complete on that. We're just in final QA, so we'll be issuing that release later in the week. We'll, of course, update the Help Center with all the details on that when we do. But this is a quick preview of all that good stuff that's coming. So in the future, what are we working on? That's obviously the question that everyone wants to know as we get to the end of these. So two major things, and these are both really big projects for us and things we've been not only thinking about for a while, but also have started working on. The first is performance enhancements for big programs. So things like how long it takes to activate a course. If you have a lot of trainees in there and you have big, particularly big courses with a lot of trainees, that combination. We'll be doing some major enhancements around that should speed up that process. So those of you who are large will benefit from that. And then the second one there, which is really a huge project, but we are going to be creating an HTML5 player for trainees. And that's effectively what that does is that allows the trainee side to be accessible on any device. Specifically mobile devices is what that's aimed at. So we obviously already have our iPad app, which a lot of you and your trainees are using, but we get a lot of requests for Android support. I think this would even make it available to work on Kindles. So anything like that, people would be able to take their training on. So that is a big undertaking, as I mentioned, and that's probably a couple months out from release, but it's what we'll be spending our time on, and we're excited to be able to do that because obviously that's very important. One thing that's really important to Mindflash in general is that when we have courses in the system that when we say it works on an iPad, every course on Mindflash works on an iPad. It's not just certain courses that have certain kinds of content or anything like that. The same will go for the HTML5 player. When we support all these different platforms and it works for trainees and all these different devices, every course on Mindflash will work that way, not just select courses. So that's something that we have to work hard to make sure all that stuff works, but we will do that, and that will be coming in the next couple months. So I believe that is it for the scheduled programming today. We have a few things that are a few questions that have come in as we've been talking here. As I mentioned, if you do have any questions about these features or anything else, you can just enter them into the question box there, and we'll just plow through them here. We just have a few questions today, but we're happy to address any of those that are here. So the first question is, we're concerned about security. We're told that there's not a timeout feature currently in Mindflash. Will this be added soon so that if a account is inactive for 10 minutes, will it automatically log them out? So this is something that is on our list of features to add to the system. We don't have it scheduled for release any specific time frame yet, but it is actually relatively high on our list of things to put into place, so you will see it from us in the future. But I don't have specifics for you yet.
Yeah, next one, I think Andrew is asking, if I'm using emails instead of usernames, can I, as an administrator, still set the initial password? And the answer is yes. once you turn on that feature, and the feature is available on all Advanced and Pro plans, once you turn on that feature, then you can set the password for people with usernames as well as people with email addresses.
So the next question is, when managing users, is there a way to customize the fields that would appear in their profile? For example, could we add, besides their name, email, categories for department, sales territory, geographic location, etc.? Yes, so those are the custom fields that we referenced. You can create a custom field that can be for anything, so you basically dictate what the title is. Those can be turned on and off in trainee profiles, so that they can either go in and see them and edit them or not. On the basic and advanced tiers, you have 1 custom field. And on the pro tier, you have up to 10 custom fields. So those are all visible, obviously, on the trainer side. You can see on the screen now, it has employee ID. Oops, sorry. You could see on the screen. It has employee ID, certification number, level of certification. Those are all custom fields that have been added to the system, and this is where you would go to manage them. That checkbox on the right-hand side turns them on and off in the trainee profile, and also on the public registration page. So if you're using a public registration page and allowing people to sign up, if you show them on the self-reg page, then they would have to fill that out before they're allowed into the system. Another question here, is Mindflash SCORM compliant? If not, will it be in the future?
Yes, Mindflash is not SCORM compliant, and unlikely, or at least it's certainly not on our near-term horizon. And the reason for that is similar to what Jason talked about earlier, which is our ability to just guarantee that anything that's in Mindflash works wherever Mindflash works. And unfortunately, with SCORM, there is no guarantee that systems that all claim they're SCORM compliant, but there's still a lot of ambiguity about the specific format, and there's no way for us to guarantee that what it will look like in one system, the system that it was created in, is what it will look like in Mindflash. So that's the reason that we have not embraced SCORM yet. But since our focus is primarily on subject matter experts who are currently delivering training using PowerPoint especially, those are very easy to bring into Mindflash, which is why about 65% of our customers who create their first course are doing so on the same day they open an account with Mindflash. So you see that that learning curve is really, really easy to get over and just start publishing your own courses.
Another question, if you have a participant that only has a username, does the remind feature not work? If you add an email, will the reminder be sent? So the answer to the first part of that question is that is correct. The remind feature will not work. There's no way to remind them, as reminders are sent via email. So if there's no email in the system, then certain functionality that centers around email will not happen. If you add an email, the reminder will then be sent. So when the next reminder is triggered, it will be sent. We recommend, and I think it would be a preference, that everyone have an email in the system if that's possible. It's certainly, the system was designed around email addresses, and they're going to get a better experience with the reminders, the course completion emails, that sort of thing. But due to the fact that a lot of people don't have email addresses and emails are not an option, we've introduced this. But certainly it performs a little bit differently depending on whether you have an email or not. And the preference would be to have one. So if you have that option, it's probably advisable to use it. But certainly, as if you have the username and password turned on, you can, if you add an email address after the fact, they operate as if they had an email address in the system all along, and it will start the communication, email communications as well.
Okay. Brian has a question about the single sign-on, and the question is whether the username and password credentials, the actual username and password that you have in your system, are those stored on Mindflash? And the answer is no. We really don't want that. That's not a security best practice. And so what we store on our side is a token and not the actual username and password. It is a unique token that helps both you and us identify the particular individual, but we do not have the actual username and password in our system. So you can use the API to put in that information into Mindflash. So the way that that it would work is somebody would log into, let's say, your intranet or your extranet with your credentials and see a course or a list of courses that you want them to take. They click on that, and then your system signs them into Mindflash as the person that they are, and then they start taking their course in Mindflash.
Another question, is there a reason why Mindflash takes a long time to load when working with Yammer? So that should not be the case. If it is, we would be happy to look at it. The best course of action would be to contact our support team, which is just help@mindflash.com, or you can get into our help portal and log a case there. It's something that we could certainly look at. It's strange that it would be different when you're logging in with Yammer than it is otherwise, but again, something that we would be happy to look at, and performance should not be an issue with Mindflash. So if you ever see any sort of performance issues, we would love to know, because we can get those solved and improve the experience for anyone.
Okay, so I think Linda has a question about can we track training with Mindflash? And the answer is absolutely yes. That's one of our goals, is to make training more measurable. And there are two ways that you can get that information. One is with the access that all people have at all tiers, Basic, Advanced, and Pro, which is the course level reports. And these are real-time reports that tell you how many people are in the invited status, in progress, completed, what the scores were on the different quizzes, and right down to the level of which questions or what the answer was for a specific question. So you can get all of that information here. You can filter your report by groups and view the survey report as well. And then in the advanced and the pro level, you have more advanced reporting, and I don't have that up right now, but that is, we definitely have much more advanced reporting that allows you to look at the bird's eye view, as well as the course level, series level, and the training transcript as well. So lots of reporting that was based on a lot of feedback from all of you.
Question, can that reminder be sent via MMS to a telephone number if available? That's not a feature that we offer. The reason for that being that goes back to what we were saying. We want everything to be a good experience for the trainees. We currently don't support training on phones, or at least we can't guarantee that the trainings will work on a phone. It certainly will not work on an iPhone at the moment. So that reminder that we send has a link to the course. So if they were to click on it, it would be broken on many phones. So that's why we don't do that. It's not something that's off the table. Certainly, as we support more devices in the future, it's something that we will look at and figure out whether or not we can do. But at the moment, it doesn't do that. The last question I think that we have right now is it possible to notify trainees of mandatory training as well as their supervisor? So it is possible to notify trainees that the training is mandatory. When you enroll someone in a course or invite them to a course, you can choose whether or not it's required. They would be notified that it's required, and it also is indicated that it's required on their training dashboard when they log in. So they know. In terms of a supervisor, it's not possible to add a supervisor to a trainee at this time in Mindflash. Again, something that we're looking at, but there's no immediate plans to add that, so there's no way to notify that supervisor as well. I believe that is the last of the questions that we have here. So this, as Reindeer mentioned, this is something that we're trying to do on a regular basis, give you a quick preview of things before they come. So you'll see more of this from us in the future, as well as notifications of when releases are issued and what the the details are of that release, so look for that in the Help Center. You can access the Help Center in the top right corner of your account. There's a little help button there. You can click on that and go into our Help Center. And we've got a complete list of our release history and detail on all of that, so please access that if you ever have any questions on why something's slightly different than it was yesterday. And you'll also see notifications coming in the product that things have changed as well. So any feedback on any of those features or our communication or anything, all welcome. You know, we're happy to hear how things are working for you, and certainly are interested in what's not working for you or enhancement ideas that you have. That's how we drive our development and prioritize what we work on. So I would encourage you to get in touch with us. Help@mindflash.com is the best place to start, certainly, but feel free to reach out to us, and you know, we'll have a quick conversation about what's going on and how we can help you out.
Yep. Two other ways that we're trying to get these new features and help you learn these new features. One is tours that we have in the product. So as you go to user management or other newer areas of the application, you should start seeing these tours that will give you a quick overview of the different things that you can do in the application besides these webinars. And we also have a feedback box at the bottom of every page. So if you see something that's strange or quirky, or you wish it would do just this other little feature that would make your life so much easier, please drop us a note. And the more context that you can give us about what you're trying to do, the more helpful it is to us as we try and figure out how to implement that feature. Okay, so from all of us at Mindflash, thank you for joining us. We will send out a link to this recording via email tomorrow. Thank you.
Bye.